Go ahead.
Well, it's been an unsettling week here in the Lower Mainland. Our hearts here at My Home Designer go out to the people of Abbotsford, especially all the people in the Sumas Prairie. It's shocking to see these pictures. So today we want to talk about um, ways to manage what many of us are facing, which is water is going where we don't want water to be. So before Aryo jumps into that, I just want to remind everyone that you can book a free consultation with Aryo. Go to our website, myhomedesigner.com, and please take advantage of this. There's no obligation, and we guarantee you're going to get a great flow of information. Also, we'd love for you to leave your comments and questions in chat, and we'll get back to you. And now you're up, Aryo.
Thank you. Yes, this event that happened, it's gonna be, we're gonna have to accustom with it. It happened 2 years ago. It was a year ago or 2 years ago, and I personally experienced it in my basement. I never seen such that thing before. How much of a water could flow within a short period of time? Because we've been seeing, we're used to in Vancouver too much rain, but that amount of water that flows in that short period of time, it causes overflowing sewer and regular waterways. As a result, water backup and will create a mess in your property. So I'm going to talk about two different scenarios. One is how much we can control and be in charge of our property and make it happen prior to work, and how what's going to happen. The other one part what's going to happen afterwards, how we can deal with it. See, uh, what happened to Abbotsford, it can happen anywhere, especially when you're talking about some areas in the low land area, like Swassen, Delta, Richmond.
Oh, Richmond.
Yeah,
They're below sea level in Richmond. I haven't been there, but I bet you they've got water problems.
yes. They built a duct around the whole area, that is after the flood happened. When was that? In 60s or 70s. They built a
Yeah.
whole dock around, and now this most of these areas, and even in Squamish and the Maple Ridge, uh, they're advising, or they're not allowing to build any homes below that level, which is about 1 meter above sea level,
Yeah.
or 3 feet above sea level. Basically, you cannot build your livable space. Your footing and foundation and your garage and everything can be there to support your building, but whenever you're building your livable space, like your living room and bedroom and kitchen, everything has to be built above that. I have several clients in everywhere, name it, Richmond, Delta, Abbotsford, not Abbotsford, I didn't have a client in Abbotsford, but in Maple Ridge and Squamish, that we had to construct a building above the sea level. But you have a house already, and now you're facing water raise and rise on your property, and you want to know what you're gonna do. So see, most of the building, when they build in such a way that they can have the groundwater controlled by a drain tile around the building, and basically when the water comes around, there is a pipe around the foundation and footing the building that it will remove the water from, or doesn't let the water sits around the foundation or footing. And a lot of time happens that either they don't function properly, or there is your property is in such a slope that the water is below your footing, and your, like, for example, in my case, this is my house is sitting on a land like this, in a slope like this, and my building is like in a slope. Some part is at the top, and some part is in the bottom. So the drain tile in the top here collects the water, comes from there, but there's water coming from underneath as well, so that seeps through. And my foundation wall inside the building doesn't have a drain tile. So that's happened to me 2 years ago, that I came to from work. I came inside. I left the house maybe for 3 or 4 hours. When I came, my basement was flooded, about a foot of water. And that was just surprising. And it was not the sewer backup or anything like that. It was just the water was running like the river. And because there was no drain tile, from inside the crawl space, the water was seeping through the concrete. Not only seeping through the concrete wall, but from the bottom, from the ground up. Because sometimes, even in many new homes that I noticed, I was inspecting some of the houses that they were building. The contractors put the drain tile at the bottom, and they put the gravel on top, and that the inspector approves it. But then when they're filling the backfill, they're supposed to have the gravel all the way up to landscaping, so that the water around can seep through that gravel all the way down to the pipe, and then release to the mainstream of water. But they don't do it. They do it with the regular dirt. They do it with the clay or any other dirt they can find, because they don't want to spend the extra money on the gravel to make sure the concrete wall that is or footing wall has enough gravel at the side of it. If the water comes through, it doesn't get stuck through this dirt or clay. So as a result, water stays here and seeps through the concrete. Concrete is not a waterproof material, and then there is a lot of water, it can easily seep through. And then it causes a lot of damages. So what we're gonna do when this happens? In my case, what happened is I learned a lesson. I built a kind of like a well, a couple of deep down, below my concrete. It's like about 2 feet by 2 feet deep. And I put a sump pump. So the water was coming from everywhere, because the water finds the lower elevation. It basically will be collected in that area. I don't know what happened to my YouTube. What's happening is it's it's there. Sorry, I got distracted. Because the water. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Too much technology.
I know, because the water gets to lower elevation, so the water gets in that well, you can say, and pumps through sump pump. And as a matter of fact, I end up to build 2 of these wells that in different locations, to make sure the basement would not flood again. And it passed the test this year, even though this year we had more water than 2 years ago. I can feel, the water was like an incredible amount of water was coming. So what happened for somebody else? If you never happened to this situation that you have flooded your basement yet, make sure, number one, is go around your property and find the lowest area and create a well. And if you can, make sure that this well is connected to your drain tile. If you don't have a drain tile, that you're going to be in trouble. So if you have a drain tile, make sure the drain tile is working. How are you going to make sure? Run water through and see if the water doesn't stuck there, it goes away. If the water doesn't go through, higher master, what do you call it, plumbing master, what do you call it, there's a special name for that, they run spring in it through, and open
Yeah.
up the drain tile for you. If you don't have it, you better to make one. And they're experts for specifically for that. They either dig through around, or if not, they can dig only two part, and underground they dig a pipe for you, and install a pipe to make sure the water doesn't stay around your building.
Yeah.
And when you make that well, install a sump pump.
Right.
That's the
So this only needs to happen on the lowest part, the lowest part of your grade,
it
or
is
does it
better
have?
because in my case, I had in a situation that one was not enough, and I could see that when I put one location, I had a certain situation that I had to put two. Why is better to have the lower part of your land, ground, or your land, your property, is because, as I said, the water usually stays wants to go through the lower part.
Yeah,
But if
yeah,
your property is bigger, one would not be enough, because they travel in a certain distance, and if you might not be judging properly, they before they get to the well that you built, it finds its way through your footing and goes inside your house. So you might, if you want to do it yourself, or if you can hire somebody to do that for you, to find a couple of different locations, make a 2 by 2 something like that. Well, could be 2 or 3 feet, and then put a sump pump. You can fill back with the gravel that kids don't fall, or if you don't want, you can even put a culvert or a pipe with a lid on it. So that would be good enough to make sure that you don't have excessive amount of water sitting around your property that eventually enter to your house. That is one of the most important things that you can do. Create either a channel or a well or some way that the water doesn't stick around your footprint of your building, that it can go away and get out of your area. There's times that your property is already low and you can't do much about it. In that case, you might have to build a retaining wall away from your building, and put basically your water redirection outside of your retaining wall. That retaining wall can be permanent, could be as temporary as sandbags. But listen, this is something is going to repeat occurring over and over every year, and we have to take this serious, especially us that we live close to the water. We will have a raise of water in some way or other. This scenario that I'm talking about, it might not apply for situation that happens right now in the Abbotsford, that the water was outside of our area, that was increased the level and got into their property. That might not apply to that kind of homes, but in general, many homes in the Lower Mainland, which didn't have that kind of situation, will have in different type of water ingress or water seepage through wall. May not be even too much. Even a little bit of a seepage through the walls can
yeah,
cause molds and create problems in the long term. So what happens if you have that situation, and what happens what you gotta do if something happened like that? First of all, okay, sometimes insurance covers your things, sometimes they don't, sometimes you don't even have a time even think about the insurance. Don't think about the insurance. If they can fix your issues, fine. If not, you have to act yourself. Number one, stay calm, don't panic. Try to remove your valuable stuff first. You make sure there's no electrical outlets or electrical things are in the ground that it gets into the water or something like that that causes a shock or something like that. That is a must, because you don't want to lose your life for saving your stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, and secondly, as I said, try to remove as much as possible your valuable things, and find the source of water. If you can find the source of water and redirect them first, that would be the priority. Because if you don't do that, no matter how much you're removing water, the water is going to come back again. So if you could find the source of water to relocate them or redirect them, then you can start doing the rest. The rest means, again, removing your valuable stuff, and then trying to find a way to dry the place. Either getting a sump pump to suck the water out, removing the floors. Like for example, after what happened in my particular case, what I've done, I had to remove the flooring. I
Yeah.
removed the drywall about a foot or two. I'm sorry, it was about 2 feet from the ground entirely, because I didn't want to take a risk to leave no matter how much you dry the drywall, but still, because I'm gonna live here, my kids are gonna live here. I didn't want to take a risk of having a little bit of not properly dried drywall, which eventually would cause mold and
Yeah.
asthma and all that kind of things. So I removed about 2 foot of the entire basement drywall, and waited about in my case, even though I put the dehumidifier and I put fan, because any electric or any gas heater is not gonna work. So you have to put the dehumidifier and the fan to have air dry.
Yeah.
Because that year we had a lot of more rain, and it took me a while to make sure that the source of water is been entirely removed. I had to wait about a month to make sure everything is dry. I basically made sure that everything is entirely dry, and then start covering back again. So when
Yeah.
I wanted to cover back, I put a new sort of underlay that basically lifts my floor by about a half inch. That there is always airflow at the bottom, or if not airflow, if there is for any reason the underground water again steps up, then my flooring is not going to be touched by that. There's going to
Yeah.
be always water flows toward the lowest part, and eventually it will be removed from the house. It's not going to be stay in the basement. And then I tried in the basement, I tried to avoid any material that would be damaged by water, like wood flooring or
Yeah.
laminate. I used flooring they call luxury vinyl, and I made sure I'm waterproof as much as possible by putting a poly at the bottom. And the drywall, the new drywall we installed, we made sure that it doesn't touches the ground. It stays about half inch above the flooring. So when you put your baseboard, that gap is going to be covered. You're not going to
Yeah.
be visible. So as much as possible to avoid creating mold that will be caused by seepage from the water from the below or anything like that. So
Yeah.
to summarize, and because there's so much subjects, summarize, if you can hire somebody who has the experience to help you out with the strategies, how you can because it's not everybody's bread and butter. Even if you hire insurance guys, they just follow a protocol that might not apply for every building, and every building is unique. Depends on the slope they are in, or depends on the situation. Sometimes even the floor, the lock is in a lower ground, and you have to make a different decision making how you can make your house safe and dry to stay away from water raising from the ground or something like that. So if you can hire somebody who knows what he's doing or she's doing that, so to make sure they keep your perimeter of your house as dry as possible, or let the water out, and then you come when it happens, just do the right thing. And the right thing is not to panic, and take your time to make sure everything is dry. You
Yeah.
don't want to put everything back, which is when it's not dried enough, because concrete takes time to dry as well. You're talking about the minimum of 4-inch concrete, which already been wet from underground. So you cannot just put your flooring right away on top before you drying it up. So there's a lot of things to talk about, and I think it's we are going over time, and I'd like to invite everybody who really is interested on this topic, contact me if they have a particular case. Send me the picture to see how I can help them remotely. If not, then we might have to come and visit them, or I can direct them to the right contractor to help them to get the right answer.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are dealing with this right now.
If not dealing now, they will have more of this in the
Yeah.
future. So the sooner you're prepared and have your house properly fixed, and because even new homes will have these problems, even if they haven't had that before. Hey,
Everybody, Jazz.
hey, Jazz, how are you?
Okay, off you go.
No, he
he,
wants to be in the
he
camera.
wants to play. He wants to meet everybody.
Yes,
He's a good.
good.
He's a good boy.
Awesome. So, if you want to finalize and finish up the conversation, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, it's an important thing to talk about. There's a lot of people dealing with this right now. So, oh, you little fiend. Um, yeah, give Aryo a call, and he will absolutely be able to help you sort this out. Hearts go out to all the people who are suffering with this right now. The biggest problem most of us have is getting groceries and gas. Some people are suffering far more significantly. So, um, yeah, tough times here in British Columbia, but we'll get through it, and we'll be back again next week with another show to share with our audience.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.